Our final speaker today is someone who was a mayor himself, someone who understands the importance of investment in infrastructure, of supporting our municipal workers, our construction workers, and everybody who is behind each and every one of these projects, and someone who cares about all of us here in Middle America and in every part of our country. We thank the Secretary for taking time not just to come here to KCI Airport, but to visit with the people who are behind this airport project, the people who are behind the Panasonic project, to visit students at UMKC, and to truly see and support all that we're doing in Kansas City to make this a better region and the greatest place to live in America. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for being part of this important project and the next generation of infrastructure, air travel, and economic development in our region. Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Well, thank you. First of all, Mayor, thank you so much. You have so much to be proud of. The job has only become more demanding since I wore the title. People sometimes still flatter me by calling me Mayor Pete, and I just see so much that you have to be proud of, and I know you'll be carrying it on. I want to thank Mayor James, from whom I learned a thing or two when I was cutting my teeth as a new member of the Community of American Mayors. And one of those things I learned is that you set things into motion, and sometimes they are completed after you've moved on to another assignment. It must be so rewarding to see this become completed, Mayor. We are surrounded by mayors. I believe that the United States Congress would be a better place if there were more mayors in its ranks, like Representative Cleaver, also Mayor Cleaver, and somebody who is a towering figure in Washington and such an important and effective representative for this region. Thanks for all that you do when it comes to infrastructure. And next to him, Sharice Davids, my good friend, representative from Kansas, somebody who brings such intellect and imagination to her work. And I've known her for a long time, so I would say nice things about her, even if she weren't the vice chair of the committee that oversees my department. But for that reason as well, I'm glad that you're here. To Jeff and Pat and everybody whose teams made this possible. We were talking earlier, there's a new body of research that's come out analyzing billion-dollar-plus projects. The proportion of them that are completed in a way that meets the promised benefits, happens on time, and arrives at or under budget is less than 1%. So you've done something special here that we're all going to need to learn from in this country. Lieutenant Governor Toland, and through you, Governor Kelly as well, we send greetings. Governor Parson, I just want to applaud the approach that you are taking, recognizing that in a world where a city like Kansas City needs to compete with minor cities of 5 million or 10 million people in China that most of us have never even heard of. The competitor is not who's over the river. It's a little bigger than that. And that bi-state, bipartisan approach that you have embraced serves your states well, your communities well, and frankly, makes it easier for us in the Department of Transportation to work with you. So we thank you for your leadership and congratulate you as well. And everybody here, what a great day, and coming at such an important moment. This is a historic period of revival and improvement in our country's physical infrastructure. We are underway right now as a country, improving tens of thousands of miles of roadway, thousands of bridges, and improvements of every kind in every part of the country. But still, even for a transportation secretary, it is not often that you get to mark a major new airport terminal in America, and that makes this a very special day. Airports are such an exceptionally important part of our economy and our personal stories. As I look around this hall, I think we all probably think of something a little different as we look around, especially if you worked on it and you think about the piece you worked on the hardest. From the wonderful art that is here, to the elegant proportions of this terminal, to the functional benefit it's going to have in more effectively moving people in and out from where they need to be. What I think about the most is the stories, the careers, and adventures and romances and families whose stories will turn on things that happen because of journeys that begin and end when somebody comes through these glass doors leading into this amazing hall. So many stories will be shaped for the better by this great public works project. And as some of the other speakers mentioned, an airport like this is also the front door to a community, the first impression for millions of people who will come here for work, for pleasure, to see loved ones. And it's certainly safe to say that the new Kansas City International Airport will do that job particularly well. Right now, the air's got that, something I've never experienced before, what I would call new airport smell, which I like. But having seen the proportions of the smoker that's in the barbecue restaurant back there, I think pretty soon there's going to be some other aromas in here. You've got local restaurants featuring some of the best food and drink from the city. You got more gates and a customer-friendly, passenger-friendly design. It's going to help people check in and get to their flights with ease. And it was designed with everybody in mind, with play areas for kids, with restrooms that are accessible and ADA compliant, with baby changing stations, which brings a whole new meaning to me when I think about travel now that I've become a toddler dad. In so many ways, this airport's going to be a model for similar efforts getting underway across the country. And you didn't just deliver the largest infrastructure project this city's ever seen. It bears reporting one more time that you did it on time and on budget and supported over 5,000 construction jobs, including working with 100 women and minority businesses along the way. That's a lot to be proud of. And frankly, these improvements couldn't come at a more fitting time, because we've all seen that America's airlines and airports have been sometimes struggling to keep up with demand. And while the overall picture has improved a lot, there's still a lot of work to do. That means improvements for our airlines and our airports. As you probably know, we've been very, very hard at work on the airline side, holding airlines to a higher standard of customer service. Last year, we achieved a major step up in enforceable passenger service commitments from America's major airlines, getting them to agree in writing to take care of stranded passengers. We put together a dashboard that lets air travelers know exactly what they can expect and demand when airlines are responsible for a delay, things like hotels and meal vouchers and free booking. We've helped air travelers get well over $1 billion in refunds for canceled flights and set a record for enforcement against those airlines that haven't done the right thing. And pretty soon we're going to be announcing a new proposed rule that would make sure traveling parents can sit next to their kids at no extra cost, because that is simply the right thing to do. And it's part of our larger initiative against junk fees in this administration. But it's also a matter of infrastructure. That's why we're here, and that's why we're making historic investments in airports around the country so they can fund exactly the kind of improvements that you've made right here. We have funded a new terminal in Pittsburgh, new gates in Orlando, better bathrooms in Chattanooga, an improvement all the way through to a rural airport in South Dakota that used to be a mobile home, and now their general aviation terminal is going to be a fixed building. We're supporting better escalators in Huntsville, faster security checkpoints, baggage drop-off improvements, check-in counters, customs areas, boarding zones in dozens of airports around the country. It's about making air travel a better and easier experience for everyone flying in America. If you're traveling for work, you ought to be able to find outlets to charge your laptop. If you rely on a wheelchair or have a disability, you ought to be able to have the support you need to navigate a huge terminal. And every traveler ought to be able to check their bags, get through security, and find their gate as easily and efficiently as possible. And that's exactly what you've delivered here in Kansas City. Common sense improvements that anyone who's ever flown is going to appreciate. And I should add that thanks to leaders like Representative Cleaver and Representative Davids, we now have historic funding to continue those improvements across the country, and that is why this will go down in history as America's infrastructure decade. So thank you for recognizing the importance of this work. Matter of fact, through that legislation, under President Biden's leadership, we just announced another $1 billion for airport terminal improvements today, including $6.7 million coming right here to Missouri. We've got, there's an old terminal in, there's an old air traffic control tower in St. Joseph that needs work. Clinton Regional Airport, we're going to be reconstructing a terminal building and the road that leads to it. There's a reason why that legislation passed with bipartisan support, and why leaders from both parties, just as you're seeing leaders from both parties and from all levels of government today, have come together to commit to bringing more good infrastructure to their communities. Kansas City's already gotten funding, $25 million in fact, not that I'm counting, to keep investing in the airport through that infrastructure package. And there are dozens of others nationwide that can say the same today, from international hubs to small regional and tribal airports. And for so many Americans, whether they are frequent travelers or not, airports are a workplace. They are a source of income, and they are a pillar of the community. For them, this funding means a better workplace, means more jobs, means a stronger, better connected community. So I am thankful for the tireless work that all the leaders have put into making this project possible in Kansas City, and I'm looking forward to continuing our work to transform airports across the country for the better. Because I'll end where I began. It's about the story. The stories, plural, of the many people who will come here for work or for travel, and how their lives will be shaped for the better by this terrific facility. It's also the story of our country, stepping forward in the awareness that if we are to lead in the 21st century, as we led the 20th, we must have world-class infrastructure, and we will not rest until every corner of the country can say that. Thank you again. Congratulations to this community, and I'm delighted to be celebrating with you. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary. A few final points, and then we'll conclude with this part of the program. First, an acknowledgement and thanks to our United States Senators from Missouri and Kansas, who I know could not join us today, but we appreciate their support, as well as United States Representative Sam Graves, who has been important and vital in the development of this project as well. I'll ask after our comments that the platform party and other dignitaries remain in this area so that we can take pictures and make sure that we officially cut the ribbon. And I will very simply finish with this. Because of this project, thousands of Missourians and Kansans have got jobs and built new careers. Because of this project, we will bring millions, if not billions of dollars in new economic development to Missouri and Kansas. And because of this project, we will build generations more of exceptional memories here at KCI. And this project is because of all of you. Thank you all so much. God bless you. And let's cut the ribbon. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. All right. Careful.
See, all right, it's done.
All right. All right. We usually count down from 3, but I think this rate's count down from 10 probably.
Yeah, that works.
All right, everybody ready? Am I ready? All right. How about a countdown from 10? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.